Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking with Pastor. I am your host, Thaddeus Majette, and I'm pretty excited this afternoon to have this woman of God here. And she's been a very impactful person on my life. She's known me since I was like 10, and she has always been a person who's hardworking, willing to serve God and his people, and continues just to move forward in the right direction. So I introduce to some and present to others, Minister Deanne Tony. It is a pleasure to have you on my show today. I am excited because, we go back, way back, and, God has been moving and God has been continuing to bless us both, both of us being PKs. Hey, PK kids. And it is truly an honor to have you on my show this evening.
Well, thank you so much, Thaddeus. I love the little French twist on the last name. However, it's just Tony. But thank you. So to God be the glory, and I'm delighted and excited to have be with you, today. So yeah, let's just do it.
So just getting started. I want people to know about you. Most people have this misconception about ministers and preachers of the gospel, that they're not regular people and that they don't have struggles and heartaches and things like that, because they think because you have that title of minister that everything is fine. But I want the people to know a little bit about you and what you're involved in. What do you do for occupation? And when did God tell you that it was time for you to be called into the ministry?
Wow, that's a mouthful. So I'll begin with, personally, I am a mother of two, a wife, and just a family person. For the past 20 plus years, my occupation has been in the beauty industry as a beautician. I am a lover of people, a lover of pretty things. I love to enhance everything. I believe everything that God created is beautiful, but we get to play with it. We get to have fun with it. We get to make it pop, whatever the case is. I just enjoy pretty, beautiful things. And as good as it can get, God's given me a vision to make it as good as it can get.
Okay.
And so those are the things that I love to do. I would say maybe about 4 years ago, God brought a vision to me and an opportunity to create money in the financial field.
Okay.
And oddly enough, I believe that money is an enhancer. Okay. And so with money comes options. And it is important to me, one, because I lived in a place where I worked really, really hard, but I did not manifest all the things that I wanted and all the things that I believed that God would have for me. And so the career from beautician and concentrating on hair has turned into ministry and wanting to edify, empower, and build people up so that they live the very best life that God has for them. Okay. And has now moved into the field of finance. Money, again, I believe is an enhancer. It gives us options. And when we use all that God has for us wisely and as a good steward, abundance flows. We get to write big checks for churches. We get to live as God promises that we would never lack. And we get to help other people in a bigger way, from people to families to communities to the world. And so those are the things that are important to me.
Okay. So let's go back to when did you decide to come into ministry, and how did how was the transition from being just the layperson or a youth leader in your church to you now being a preacher?
So in theory or in the spirit, I believe that I didn't make the decision.
Okay.
God's calling is upon really all of us. Everything that God created is called to worship him, is called to give him glory, right? And so I had not known my path, but I believe that I was called. Me personally making the decision, Thaddeus, honestly could have been about 10 years ago. I don't necessarily remember when it happened, but I remember how it happened. And so I have just always loved God and loved people. And as time and life evolved, I grew up we grew up in the church. I got saved when I was about 17. And what called me to the Lord was knowing that he would accept me just the way I was. And with that, I felt safe. I felt accepted. I felt loved. Of course, he uses people in the mix. And so the church that we grew up in was just that, a very loving, beautiful community, right?
Okay.
And so years gone by, I got older and I began to move around in the world and go to different states and different countries. And it became evident to me that God was bigger than my church.
Okay.
Where I felt comfortable, but this was a really, really phenomenal, unlimited God. And we can serve him wherever we are, in whatever it is that we do. And so, I just wanted to be all that God called and created me to be. And I willingly became his servant. Now, in terms of title and actually doing a first sermon, I was very reluctant. I was comfortable serving God as a youth leader, as an usher, as a choir director, as a Sunday school teacher, as a women's empowerment ministry. All of those things were fine to me. I didn't feel the need to become a minister. However, someone shared the logic with me that if that's something you already do,
Mm-hmm.
why not take on this next step? And so it became a yes, even though I didn't know what it would look like.
Okay.
And so I said yes to God, yes to the call, and been walking in it ever since.
Well, that is truly amazing because of the type of woman you are and the fact that, your mother, like my mother, are both preachers in the gospel, both ordained at the same time. And has that been a little, I won't say challenging, but has that been a little, impressed upon you because your mother's a pastor of a church? And how has that made you feel in your impact toward ministry, or has it strengthened it because it strengthened your bond between you and your mother?
Well, my mom and I have a wonderful bond, even before her becoming a preacher. Now, I think I was in my early 20s when she actually got ordained. And I began to feel like her calling would have a negative impact on what I'm able to do, how people would look upon me. And as I grew, one, as a Christian, and grew as a woman, the notion of what other people think, I
Mm-hmm.
won't dare say I don't care about it. However, I care about what God thinks more. And so that quickly left me. And I just began to live my life knowing that God was with me in every area of my life. And so, my mom is a great teacher. She's very patient, a faithful woman of God, and those things stick out more to me than necessarily the organization part of the church. So yeah, I love the example that she walks and lives.
Okay, that's very insightful because of the fact that she has made that impression on you and impact on your life because she walks in the path that God has led her, and that her children now are part of her ministry, and to be able to, enhance the ministry as well, and the kingdom of God as a whole. But now that you have become a minister, you are an entrepreneur, you are impacting lives through beauty